Learn English through story. A whisper of passion. In the quiet town of Solace, nestled between rolling hills and a shimmering lake, lived a woman named Eliza Thornton. Solace was a town where people knew each other's names, where gossip traveled fast, and where most people lived content, predictable lives. Eliza, at 38, fit neatly into the town's rhythm. She was married to James, a steady man who ran the local hardware store. Together, they had built a life that was comfortable and safe. Eliza's days followed a routine. She managed their modest household, worked part-time at the town's bookstore, and participated in community events with her friends. From the outside, her life seemed picture perfect. She had a loyal husband, a warm home, and a circle of friends who admired her for her generosity and kindness. But deep inside, Eliza felt a restlessness that she couldn't quite shake. It wasn't dissatisfaction with her life or her marriage, it was something more elusive. Something that had been quietly growing over the years, like a whisper in the background of her life. Before marriage, before the responsibilities of adulthood took over, Eliza had been a dancer. It had started in her youth, a love of movement and music that had carried her through her teenage years. Ballet, contemporary, even the wild freedom of modern dance. If she had loved it all, dance had been her escape, her way of expressing emotions she couldn't put into words. But when she met James, life took a different turn. They had fallen in love quickly, and Eliza had chosen a more stable path. Her dreams of dance faded into the background as they built a life together. Years passed, and her love for James remained, but the whisper of her old passion lingered. It came to her in quiet moments, when she was alone in the bookstore, when she stood by the lake and watched the water ripple, or late at night when the world was silent, and she was left with her thoughts. The whisper reminded her of the part of herself she had left behind. The part that still longed to feel the music move through her body, to lose herself in the rhythm and the freedom that dance had once given her. One autumn afternoon, as the leaves fell from the trees and painted the town in shades of gold and red, Eliza's restlessness reached a breaking point. She had been in the bookstore, sorting through new arrivals, when her hand brushed against an old book. Its cover worn and faded. The title, The Art of Movement, caught her eye. She opened it and found page after page of beautiful photographs of dancers, their bodies captured in graceful arcs and powerful leaps. As she turned the pages, memories flooded back, memories of the joy she had once felt when she danced, the way time had seemed to stand still when she was on stage. Eliza closed the book, her heart racing. She hadn't danced in years, hadn't even thought seriously about it since her marriage to James. But as she stood there, holding the book, the whisper became louder, more insistent. She couldn't ignore it any longer. That evening, after dinner, Eliza sat by the fire with James. The warmth of the flames crackled in the hearth, casting soft light across their living room. James was reading the newspaper, as he did most nights, while Eliza sat in silence, lost in thought. She watched him for a moment, feeling a wave of affection for the man she had built a life with. But there was also a sense of loss, the realization that in choosing this life, she had sacrificed something important. James, she began softly, her voice barely above a whisper. He looked up from his paper, a gentle smile on his face. Yes, love, I've been thinking a broken bar about something. She paused, unsure of how to say what she needed to say. Do you ever feel like you're missing something, like there's a part of you that's been left behind? James furrowed his brow, setting the newspaper down. What do you mean? Eliza took a deep breath. I used to dance. Before we met, it was such a big part of who I was, but somewhere along the way, I let it go, and now a broken bar I don't know. I just feel like there's this part of me that I've buried. James's face softened with understanding. I remember you telling me about it once, but I guess I never realized how much it meant to you. I don't think I realized it either. Not until recently, but I miss it. James, I miss dancing. I think I want to try again. I know it sounds crazy at my age. Yeah, broken bar. It doesn't sound crazy. James interrupted, reaching for her hand. If it's something you love, something you're passionate about, then it's never too late to start again. Eliza looked at him, surprised by his support. She had feared he wouldn't understand, that he would see her desire to dance again as a rejection of their life together. But James wasn't like that. He had always been kind and thoughtful, even when he didn't fully understand her inner world. Thank you, she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. That night, Eliza lay awake, her mind racing with possibilities. Could she really return to dance after all these years? She wasn't the young woman she had once been, and her body had changed. But the more she thought about it, the more she realized that dance wasn't about perfection. It was about passion, about the joy of movement, the expression of something deep inside. The next morning, Eliza made a decision. She would start small. There was a dance studio in town, a place she had passed countless times but never dared to enter. It was primarily a school for children, but they offered adult classes as well. The thought of stepping into that studio, of putting on dance shoes again, both thrilled and terrified her, but the whisper in her heart was too strong to ignore. A week later, Eliza found herself standing outside the dance studio, her heart pounding in her chest. The smell of hardwood floors and the faint sound of music drifted through the air as she walked inside. She had signed up for an introductory adult class, a beginner's session meant for those who, like her, were returning to dance after years away. As she waited for the class to begin, she felt a mix of nervousness and excitement, unsure of what to expect. The instructor, a woman in her 50s named Claire, greeted Eliza with a warm smile. Welcome. It's never too late to dance, Claire said, her voice filled with encouragement. The class was small, with only a few other women who had similar story as the former dancers who had stepped away from their passion for various reasons. As the music began to play, Eliza hesitated for a moment, feeling self-conscious and out of place, but as she moved through the basic stretches and simple steps, something clicked. Her body remembered, even if it was stiff and unfamiliar at first. The rhythm of the music, the feeling of her muscles moving in sync, it all came back to her in waves. As the weeks passed, Eliza fell into a new routine. Twice a week, she would attend her dance class, and each time, she felt the whisper of passion in her heart grow louder. She wasn't the dancer she had once been, and she didn't need to be. This wasn't about performing for an audience or achieving perfection. It was about reconnecting with a part of herself that she had long neglected. James was supportive, asking about her classes and encouraging her to keep going. He attended her first small recital, where the adult class performed a modest piece in front of a small audience of friends and family. As Eliza danced, She saw James in the crowd, his face beaming with pride. It wasn't a grand performance, but to her, it was a victory over the years of self-doubt, over the fear that she was too old to follow her passion. In time, Eliza's love for dance began to spill into other parts of her life. She became more confident, more vibrant, and her relationship with James deepened. The unspoken distance that had grown between them over the years began to fade as they reconnected, not just as partners, but as two individuals who supported each other's dreams. One evening, as they sat by the fire once again, Eliza turned to James and said, "I never realized how much I missed this part of myself. Thank you for understanding." James smiled, his eyes warm. "I've always wanted you to be happy, Eliza. I'm just glad you found what you were looking for." Eliza leaned against him, feeling a profound sense of gratitude. She had spent so many years quieting the whisper of passion in her heart, convincing herself that her life was good enough without it. But now, she knew better. Life wasn't just about comfort and routine, it was about embracing the things that made her feel alive, about listening to the quiet whispers of her heart. The passions we bury often remain as quiet whispers, waiting for us to listen. No matter how far we stray from our true desires, it is never too late to reconnect with them. Life's responsibilities and routines can make us forget the things that once made us feel alive, but the heart never truly forgets. The pursuit of passion, at any stage of life, brings fulfillment, joy, and a deeper connection to oneself and to those we love. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you enjoyed, then please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.